Ed Uhlir, the Loki architect who played an essential, behind-the-scenes role in bringing to life the high-wattage visual spectacle of Millennium Park, Chicago's most acclaimed public space in decades, died Wednesday at 73. Uhlir had an equally significant career at the Chicago Park District, where he oversaw the renovation of such landmarks as the South Shore Cultural Center and Lincoln Park's Café Brouwer. He died at Rush University Medical Center of multiple myeloma, a form of cancer, family members said. In 1998, just after Uhlir had retired from the Park District, Mayor Richard M. Daley handpicked him to serve as Millennium Park's project director. "I was going out into the private sector and make some money," Uhlir said, but the mayor said it would only be a couple of years. It was 6. Uhlir worked with business executive John Bryan, the park's chief fundraiser, to turn the initial, ordinary plan for the park into a 24.5-acre, nearly $500 million showcase for such iconic pieces as the Cloud Gate sculpture by London-based Anish Kapoor, Spanish artist John Plance's Crown Fountain, and the Pritzker Pavilion by Los Angeles architect Frank Gehry. Since the park's 2004 opening, it has become Chicago's top tourist attraction. Ed Uhlir was one of the unrecognized heroes in the creation of Millennium Park. He successfully transformed internal conflicts, angry disagreements and irreconcilable tensions among politicians, architects, corporate executives and civic leaders into Chicago's most significant public space of the last century. Loyola University professor Timothy Guilfoyle, author of Millennium Park Creating a Chicago Landmark, wrote in an email Thursday, "Uhlir was tall and quiet, and had a measured voice and a wry sense of humor that helped him put up with, and navigate his way around, bureaucratic hurdles." He was born in Chicago in 1944. He graduated from Lane Tech High School in 1962 and attended Northwestern University, prompted to go there by his parents' wish that he become a dentist, his daughter Lydia said. But his desire to become an architect won out and he received his Bachelor of Arts in Architecture degree from the University of Illinois at Chicago, then called University of Illinois at Chicago Circle, in 1969. After graduation, he restored old houses, including a Victorian two-flat in which he lived at the Chicago Park District, where Uhlir worked from 1973 to 1998. He held such positions as chief architect and director of research and planning. Through it all, he rose above the district's reputation as a way station for political hacks, bringing his architect's sensibility and respect for historic structures to such acclaimed projects as the restoration of the South Shore Country Club, now known as the South Shore Cultural Center, and Café Brouwer. He also supervised the continuing expansion of Lincoln Park Zoo, a long-term framework plan for Lincoln Park, and the construction of the restroom and restaurant pavilions around Buckingham Fountain. Notable as those projects were, they turned out to be a warm-up for the role Uhlir played in the urban planning extravaganza of Millennium Park. When Daley announced the park in 1998, it was supposed to cost $150 million and be completed in 2000, but Bryan and other civic leaders concluded that the original Beaux-Arts plan for the park by Skidmore, Owings Merrill, did not make a bold statement about the future, so they brought in some of the world's leading architects, artists and landscape architects. As a result, the project opened 4 years late and cost more than 3 times the original estimate, in part because it was being redesigned as it was being built. The orchestration of the various players, the design teams, the city departments, the civic organizations, and the philanthropists who were writing the checks to cover much of the added costs, fell to Uhlir. When the park opened, the Tribune's Chris Jones wrote it was the Loki Uhlir, an architect by training and a strikingly candid fellow who moves easily from aesthetic speculation to excitement over irrigation to hardcore budgeting, who finally got the place built. He also helped shape the park. As Guilfoyle wrote Thursday, Uhlir was responsible for moving the park skating rink from its north end to its current spot along Michigan Avenue. He also was instrumental in placing what is now called the Harris Music and Dance Theater in the park's north end. And during a visit to Los Angeles, Guilfoyle noted, Uhlir helped recruit Gary to design the Pritzker bandshell. That project led to the park's snaking BP Bridge, the first Gary-designed bridge ever constructed. Though the park was criticized for cost overruns and delays, it led to a real estate boom in the area around it. It won dozens of awards, including a 2006 National Award for Urban Design from the American Institute of Architects. In addition, the Paralyzed Veterans of America gave Uhlir the 2005 Barrier-Free America Award, recognizing how the park implemented universal design, a barrier-free philosophy. Uhlir later became executive director of Millennium Park Inc., the private not-for-profit that raises maintenance and programming funds. In that role, he toured world leaders, like the President of the Czech Republic, around the park. They want to know how we built it, how we paid for it, and how we generated all the private dollars that went into it. Uhlir said. He is survived by his wife of 48 years, Bonnie, another daughter, Laura, and a sister, Gail. The family plans to organize a memorial to celebrate his life next year. On Twitter, tributes already were coming in. Chicago is greater for his life's work, wrote architecture critic Edward Keegan. Blair Kamin is a Tribune critic. Beekman at ChicagoTribune.com. Twitter at Blair Kamin.